Everybody, what's going on? Rob Sesternino back here with the Survivor 41 Patron Q&A. Here we are live once again on a Monday night, like we've been doing all season long, live at 7 p.m. Eastern to take calls from the patrons of Rob Has a Podcast. And we have a special treat for you here today because we have one of the great voices in podcasting today. Please welcome back to the podcast. Of course, you could hear her talking all about Riverdale on Kwiatkowski Cast, and also, I believe, Twilight. The great frail Mary Kwiatkowski. Mary, how are you?
I'm doing great. You know, I'm so excited that this episode of Survivor really tied in several of my favorite things. I mean, they brought in time travel, and of course, since I've been just rewatching Tenet for the last month, that has a Twilight connection, and so it's all coming together for me.
Yeah, bad cliffhangers, all things that you cover on Riverdale, plot twists that you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. So it's great.
Yes. Okay. So very excited to have Mary here with us. We are going to take our calls from the patrons here tonight. And this is something a little bit different that we're doing here tonight. And we are opening this up that we are live on our YouTube channel, on Twitch. And so we're giving everybody a chance to see exactly how the Survivor patron Q&A goes, because in case people are sort of on the fence, don't know what it's all about, might want to check it out here. It's the start of the month. Great time to become a patron of Rob's Podcast, become a part of, in my humble opinion, IMHO, the greatest community of reality TV fans in the world, where people from all over come together and talk about the shows that we love and all of the crazy podcasts that cover it here on Rob Has a Podcast. And we are doing this every week for the patrons, just one of the shows you get in our patron podcast feed. Tomorrow night, I will be doing the monthly patron cast, where I will be once again taking calls from the patrons as I do every month. So that will be Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Plus, we have some other fun things in store, like the return of Survivor Trivia for the patrons. We have a big idea coming up with Jordan Kalish later on this month, where we are going to take on dozens and dozens of Survivor fans at once in Survivor Trivia, Mary. We have a revolutionary Survivor Trivia idea.
Well, I'm a big fan of Survivor Trivia and Jordan Kalish, so this should be really exciting.
How could you not be?
Yeah.
How could you not be? Okay. So, Mary, we also tonight will not have an update on our draft. Just a heads up also, because there was nothing to update.
I mean, you know, I think you could speculate what would happen.
You can speculate, but we're going to hold off on the draft update. And then also for the patrons of Rob Has a Podcast, if you want to call in tonight, that I put the link to call in on Patreon. So that link, you should have it in your email. It's also in the Rob Has a Podcast Facebook group. And I did not put it in the description on the YouTube page because we are live in public tonight. So I want to keep the people calling in limited to the patrons. Mary, what's been going on in your world? How have you been?
I've been good. You know, had a pretty chill Halloween, so that was fun. I was a little lamb, which I'm surprised it took me 27 years to come up with that, but you know, we finally did it, so that was fun. I'm all about comfy Halloween. You know, like coming up with costumes that you can just sort of lay around in. That's really the best.
That's a good idea.
Weather. Yeah,
that's smart.
I saw that you had a Harry Potter in your family. I was very excited about that.
Dominic is a Harry Potter. I think he has a classmate that is very into Harry Potter. So he is very into it. I let him listen to recently. The Real Weird Sisters did a podcast with Chappelle where they sorted the Big Brother contestants into their houses. And he was very interested in that one.
That was a good one. The sorting hats are great. So you know, look, start them young. And they'll just be fans for life.
Yeah. So he was into that, and then we had a Spider-Man at our house, and so and this podcast is a nice break for Nicole and I to stop eating Halloween candy.
Yeah,
2 hours of no fun-sized candies.
Somehow, even when you stop trick-or-treating, you still end up with all this candy at your house around Halloween time. I don't know how that happened, but I have like a whole bag of it over here next to me, and I don't know where that came from.
Yeah. Candy industry waits all year for this
Yeah.
time, and then everybody has it. So enjoy your candies as you call in here tonight. Earlier today, Mary, I was live on Twitch solving some more of the old Sporkle quizzes.
I saw that. I got the notification. I popped in for a little bit to watch. It was exciting.
Yeah, I found a new pastime, logic Sporkle quizzes.
Those are fun. I love all Sporkle quizzes. I mean, I know you didn't have this like when you were in high school, but when I was in high school, it was very common to sit in the back of your class and do Sporkle quizzes.
Do Sporkle quizzes. What would you do a Sporkle quiz about, Mary?
I did a lot of Harry Potter ones. I started trying to find Survivor ones, but there weren't as many back then. And
you invented them.
Yeah, I've thought about making some like because
what would you make one about?
Well, I think the main thing is like I look for difficult ones because the problem with Sporkle is it's like kind of one thing or another. It's either like Jeff Probst's phrases that are very, very easy, or it's like list every survivor. And so I want something a little bit like challenging, but not impossible, And so sometimes I find them to be a little too easy.
Sweet spot of the Sporkle quizzes.
Yeah.
Mary, we're going to take calls from the patrons in just a moment,
excited.
But would love to get your reaction to the big episode this week. I would say polarizing, but, we did listen to on the feedback show with Puya, which was a lot of fun this week. Some callers who called in and said, no, I don't hate the twist. Why is everybody so mad? Where did you come down, Mary?
I think I have finally figured out how I'm dealing with this season. And I think it's been said it's a new era, and this is the way I look at it. The first 40 season Survivor, that was like canon Survivor. That was the content. That was it. We're now in fan fiction Survivor. Okay. So this is the point where it's like the producers are like, you know what? We had 40 good seasons and now we're just kind of we're just gonna like take all of these wacky ideas and throw them at the wall. And if you just sort of go into it being like, I'm not saying it doesn't count. It does. But if you want to watch old school Survivor, go watch old school Survivor. And if you want to watch this fun new fan fiction version that like kind of counts, then just watch that and enjoy it. Don't try to make sense of it. Is
this like the same for the Star Wars movies, Mary?
Yeah, it's very similar. I feel like that way about most remakes of this age. It's like you've got your original content, you can appreciate that, and then just appreciate this for what it is, which is a separate thing. And I'm happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But like Riverdale, that like the Archie comics are like the canon works.
Yeah. Archie comics in season 1 of Riverdale is canon. And since then we've just been in a twilight zone. Like I would not be surprised if at the very end of this season of Survivor, Jeff Probst comes out there and everybody is just like, and then we woke up and it was all a dream. That checks out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think is the Gargoyle King like the monster from this season? If this season of Survivor was Riverdale, I think the Gargoyle King would be the monster.
Yes. I stand the Gargoyle King.
Of course.
Mary, that just a bit of trivia that I feel like I don't know where to announce this, but I had a podcasting dream this week. I almost never dream about podcasting.
A podcasting dream. Exciting.
Yes. And it was an episode of Renap, and Josh Wigler was the guest, and Josh Wigler was playing piano.
Okay.
Like our friend Shut Up Tim, I'm sorry, or like our friend Will from America did Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, when he came on and played live. Was Josh good at piano?
He was incredible, and he was playing like he was playing incredible. And Keith and I were debating, is he actually playing the piano or not?
Oh, or is he
keyboard.
faking it? And it's just got right. Was he playing Claire de Lune? Because I hear that's how you how you get the fans.
No, I'm not sure if it was a wand off also, but Josh Wigler was playing the piano on Renee.
That's really exciting.
Incredible. It was incredible.
I don't know if I've ever had a podcasting dream.
Yeah. You would think that I would more because I podcast so much, but it almost never happens.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you still get those dreams where you think that you're like in school and you're like late for a test or something, even though it's like you've been out of school forever?
I used to have like my recurring dream is that I'm always like I have to like I am like 1 credit short of college. Like there's been like some sort of like a mistake, and it's like, oh, actually, your college degree, you need to go back and do a semester of college to get your degree. And I never in my dream I'm like, wait, why do I need a college degree? Like, it's not like I have like some real job where that I would be fired for not having a college degree. But I always have to end up like, okay, I guess I'm sorry, everybody. I'm moving back to Oswego to go do a semester and finish up.
Uh-huh. What about Survivor dreams? I think you would have Survivor ones.
Once in a while that I do, but that's very rare.
Okay, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, Mary. Let's take some calls from
Let's do it.
We've got a lot of great callers, and let's say hello to Melissa is here. All right, Melissa, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Very good, Melissa. What's going on?
Good. I am just, winding down after work. Been really busy, so just want to talk some Survivor.
Okay. Well, Melissa, we are dying to know what you thought about this week's episode.
Well, I know they didn't show it a lot in the episode, but I'm intrigued by this 4-person all-black alliance.
Yes.
And I couldn't help but, draw the obvious parallels to the cookout. And I also noticed that in that 4-person alliance, there are distinct spheres of influence. They have people from each different tribe that have been kept separately, much like how the cookout had their plus ones. And I was just wondering if you thought that structure was something that is even feasible in Survivor.
Oh, that's interesting to think about because see, we've got, 12 people left at the moment. And if you had, that would be 8 people, even if they just all had one sort of partner, 1 + 1. So which would definitely give them the advantage. I think the tricky part with that is that it's a little bit harder in Survivor to set up the ease of two. You can't ever say these are the only 2 people who are going home, right? Like more people are up for elimination each time in Survivor because you could vote out anybody except for the one person who's safe. So whereas in Big Brother they said, well, we can just sit next to our +1 and then our +1 automatically goes home. You can't really organize it that same way. You could definitely attempt to do it in a, if you had you picked one of the 4 to win immunity if it came down to you or something, you could try to throw it to people, but I think it'd be a little more complicated. I like the idea in terms of social relationships and even alliances, but I think it's harder to guarantee which specific person goes home.
Yeah. I think it will have, it'll be a real hub of information. They'll be able to get all the information from all 3 sides of the coin, which will be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch just because of the nature of the game and how the idea of the cookout really fit well in the structure of Big Brother. Because what happens on Big Brother? A big alliance takes control, and that's really what we've seen almost in every single season of Big Brother in the modern era, of a big oniony alliance of there's really there's really 9 people, but inside there's really 6 people, but in the core there's really 2 people, and that's what happens in all these Big Brother seasons. And they pick pawns, and they put them up, and they convince people to sit on the block, and then ultimately the people on the bottom aren't able to get together until it's too late, and that's what happens on Big Brother. But modern day Survivor doesn't really play to big alliances, where if anything, really the Survivor from the 30s on has been really more about voting blocks. And while you do have potentially a voting block of Danny and Deshaun and a voting block of Liana and Shan, that I do think that there is more of a chance that they are targeted, because I feel like that more often on Survivor, pairs are looked at as very dangerous, and people want to break up the pairs. So I think that this for this group, the camp out, I think that they are going to have a much bigger challenge on their hands, and it's going to be harder because there's so much more randomness in Survivor to be able to keep the group together. I had not thought about what you said about having connections to all of the tribes. But I think they'll be able to pass the information, but I think it's going to be hard for them to be able to really control what's going on. I think it's going to be interesting just to see all the different directions everybody gets pulled.
Yeah, I also think the game Survivor right now, especially, and with the quicker version, fewer days, more votes, I think we're going to see, my hunches, like more individual, like gameplay where people are more self-interested in how they're doing. I mean, even I know we've seen Shan mention a lot about how much she trusts Liana. We haven't seen that reciprocated from Liana at this point, so I'm curious to hear more confessionals from Liana to see if that's really the goal of, the direction she wants to go in. Max in the chat mentions the closest in Survivor to a +1 system has been the buddy system.
One of Mary's favorites.
Yes. Yeah. But that's almost the opposite, because the buddy system was the entire alliance itself was connected, and that they were using the buddy system to keep tabs on themselves. Whereas in Big Brother, the +1 alliance, they didn't actually all ever come together and know that they were a group together. That was more about keeping individual people outside of the core 6 in that case, and the cookout, separate. So it's kind of the opposite system. I don't think that it's going to be able to work the same way, but I do think that they're going, if they wanted to really stick together as like the camp out, they would just need to use that to share information, mostly about like idols and advantages. I think that's probably the most we're going to be able to get similarly.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting and compelling to see if they ever sacrifice their allegiance to one of their early tribe mates for the camp out, if we're going to call it that. I just think it'll be really interesting.
I think it'll be a struggle where that they have, like, in Big Brother, the cookout was together for, weeks and weeks until they had to like make sort of like hard decisions, and sort of they had like a little bit more of for Liana and Shan, they've been together for like 48 hours. So like now, like a name is going to come up, and somebody's going to have to, vote against somebody that's from their tribe in this next vote. And so it'll be very interesting to see, just how much that holds.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Melissa.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for the call. Great to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. And Mary, I live in Charlottesville, so.
Wow. Well, great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'll have to reach out after this then.
Of course.
Look at this. Making connections.
Nice to meet
you. Take care, Melissa. Bye.
I'm just using this podcast to build my own alliances now.
Yeah. Have a meetup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I heard Sam Moore is coming to the area for a wedding later this year.
Oh, well, once we have the Will from America wedding, that'll also be helpful.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next year. Next year. Sorry about that. Okay. So, yes, I mean, in the coming year, in 2022, Sam Moore is coming for a wedding. Of course, again, let's, make sure you look up that link for calling in. That's going to be in your on Patreon. Or in the Rob Podcast Facebook group. And if anybody is looking for the link, message us and we will get it to you. All right, let's say hello to George tonight. George, how are you?
I am good, thank you.
Welcome, George. How have you been?
Thank you. I have been good. I don't normally get to join these because right now it is 10:30 in the morning. I'd normally have work, but it's public holiday today, so I'm able to join in today. Melbourne Cup Day. We have a lot of holidays in this city based around sporting events. So while everyone else is watching the race that stops the nation, I am here today.
Okay. What kind of race is it?
It's a horse race.
A horse race? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't really support that, but I'll take the holiday.
Okay, that's fine. I think you were going to say maybe it was a marathon. Mary could have attended.
Yeah. I think Boston might be the only place that has a marathon-related public holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that the marathon came after the holiday, not the other way around.
Okay. George, what's happening?
I have to say, I'm glad that you included all of those people during the feedback show that were like actually happy about this season, because it just really felt like over the last couple of days between Reddit and Twitter that like people were like, oh, the season sucks. Why?
Right.
Why? It just felt like do you even like Survivor? I felt like Jeff Probst in that interview.
Like Jeff Probst. Do you even like me? I'm glad you mentioned that, George. I got some nice tweets also where people said that they appreciated that we talked about, like, we weren't just so negative, where I do think that, like, sometimes the Survivor community can be a little bit of an echo chamber, and it's a little bit like, this sucks, they're ruining the show, it's too many. So, like, I want to be able to talk about, like, things that we think are not great, but I also, like, want to try to keep the discussion fun also. And, when we could sort of like say, like, okay, well, maybe this isn't as bad as we think. I mean, it usually is, but.
Yeah. Also, at the end of the podcast, when you did sort of the grading of the twists, is kind of what I had in mind for, like, coming into this, and then you did it at the very end. But, like, I feel like a lot of the twists this season, maybe not the most recent one, are designed to encourage the players to keep secrets. Because as like more and more in the last couple of seasons, they've been not encouraging, but like players have started sharing information more and more. Whereas like between the sort of password for the phrase that pays idol, the knowledge is power idol, and also the shot in the dark. Like the shot in the dark exists and it encourages blindsides. The phrase that pays and the knowledge is power advantage both encourage people to keep information about idols to themselves. I think they want to encourage a lack of information sharing so as to increase the chance that there are moments where like the other player's like, oh my God, I never saw that happening.
Yeah. That's a very good point. That I thank you for mentioning in the feedback show. Puya and I gave letter grades to all of the twists this season towards the end of the show. If anybody is interested in hearing what we thought about that, Mary, what do you think about that? Are the twists designed mostly because the producers like to see the players shocked?
Yeah, I think while the effect may end up being that people in the future, after watching this season, contestants try to keep more information to themselves or be more wary, I think that's actually like a backfire. That's not what the producers want. I think the producers want chaos, which is why they introduce these. And much like finding an idol at a challenge, I like the way that they did the phrase that pays in terms of the fact that it was just a different way to get an idol. It was something interesting that we as a viewer got to see. I think the way that you sort of, as a player, hope that works out is that everybody happens to find it at the same time. They all say the phrases once and that's it. And then it's less obvious. But unfortunately, we're at a point now where you have 3 people who pretty much everyone, after rewatching the episode, everybody openly knows that Xander and Nasir have the idols. They figure that out. There's enough. There might be 1 or 2 people who don't know that, but my guess is they probably do. So I don't think that that's necessarily what the producers want. I do think it lends for entertaining TV, but in the future, I think we're going to see, if they continue to repeat these types of twists, like you're saying, I think we're going to see people being more cautious, which is like a backfire of what probably the producers want them to do.
Yeah, they want them to be playing wild and aggressively, but yeah, I think that like the twists are designed for like these big shock moments on the TV show where we have like these big reveals, and that's why they do things like the idol nullifier and things like this knowledge is power advantage, which like things that are in the game that the other players don't even know is a possibility that's in the game, which I think that, most people that have complained about for a long time of like, you can't have rules in the game that people don't know are rules of the game and expect players to be able to like navigate.
And in season 39, when we had the one advantage that turned out to not really be a great advantage of the you've you've lost your vote, now here's a piece of paper and a pencil, write something down on it. I think that at that point in time, it was like, there had been so few advantages in Survivor that ended up being negatives. Most of them end up being positives, at least on the surface level. Here's an idol, here's an extra vote, whatever. And I think that now, since people have been complaining for years about the advantages and idols making the game too overpowered for those players, we are evening out the percentage of time when picking something up could be a negative thing. So again, I think that that's going to be something that if people are fans of the show and they watch it, they're going to hopefully eventually start being more cautious about picking things up, because I don't think that almost all of these twists have not necessarily been beneficials to the player who gets them. Yeah, poor Jamal.
Also, with the phrase that pays idols, I feel as if the producers thought they would activate earlier. Like, in recent seasons, idols have been found earlier and earlier in every season. I think they were very surprised that it took until like the 5th tribal cycle for anyone on Luvu to find that to find the idol.
Yeah, I mean, probably you'd imagine that they would have all been found like pretty early on, but yeah, it did take a while. I mean, Brad had to find his, and then was there an episode in between when before Jeannie found? I think that because Brad
the
got
JD
that
episode.
third, yeah, and so it took like 2 more votes before Jeannie ended up finding the other idol, and then Nasir, found it, assuming that we can believe the edit that he found the idol only a day before, and he wasn't just like sitting on it for a couple of rounds.
Yeah, because I just feel as if they don't want. I don't think they wanted Xander to be without a vote for that long, or for him to have. Maybe I'm mistaking what they would want, but I feel as if they also wouldn't want to have Xander repeat the phrase that often.
What do you think, Mary?
I mean, the problem mostly was that like Brad found the one from his tribe, and so then Xander sort of had to keep repeating it after Brad started, and there were at least 1 if not 2 episodes where the 2 of them were just having to say it over and over again when the 3rd one hadn't been found. So yeah, I think if you're gonna do this where you want the 3 people to find it, do it like you did the other advantage that everyone found where they had to go at night and sort of plant them in camp where it's extremely obvious that someone's going to find it, because it is a little bit sad that Xander lost his vote for so long. Him and Nasir are really not coming out well on this one, but it's sad. Hey, you know what? I just say stay away from it, all advantages at this point.
Would you not pick up an advantage if you found one, Mary?
Yeah, I think if I picked up an advantage and it said beware, I think I would put it down. Like, I think that I would know that probably nothing good can come from that. I would probably do something where I try to like plant it on another person, or maybe give it to an alliance member, or something where I knew that I wanted to be in the know of what it was, but not have the blowback on me. Because even people who have advantages, you look at Stephen Fishback getting his, you look at other people who most of the time they don't use them properly anyway.
Yeah,
I think at this point, I mean, not that I would have known at the start of the season if I was in it, but like now I think I would have chosen the approach of, okay, I know where it is. If I absolutely need it, you've talked about this, I think, on previous feedback shows. I can go back and get it. In case of emergency break
glass. Yeah.
I do like the fact that they set it up where if you don't take it, you have to put it back. It's not like you could just burn it and destroy it, because that would probably be my instinct, is just get rid of it, throw it in the volcano.
Or even move it. I'm glad that they can't move it, because that way, like, they could essentially take it out of play while still having access to it.
Okay. All right. Well, George, thank you so much for the call. Enjoy the day off.
Yes, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the Patron show.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
See ya.
Okay. Let's say hello to Josh Green, who's here. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing well, Rob and Mary. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're doing great. Josh, what's happening?
No, had my Halloween weekend ruined.
Oh no, what happened?
I had to go on call to a lovely work loss. I am in a Holiday Inn Express, and had to travel to Utica, New York, over my weekend. So,
okay.
Making the best of it, trying to.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be an Eagles thing, but no, they won.
It was not going to be an Eagles thing, and it was not going to be a Jets thing, Rob.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Sports.
Okay. So, Josh, the connection's a little in and out. Let us know. What did you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm just trying to feel better about the idols. I think they are trying to do everything they can. They know the idols bring great TV, and I think that they may have done a little bit too many drugs when they were trying to get creative this season, and they just missed the mark on this. But I like the idea of like
not the first time that's happened in Hollywood.
No, but is it fun, Rob? That's what, and Mary, like, is it fun? That's what we need to know.
But here's the thing. I'm sure it was fun to make the season. Like I'm sure that was fun. You know, you go in the kitchen and you like throw like everything in a pot and then like the sprinkles and everything. It's fun, but do you want to eat it?
Yeah, we're gonna have a tummy ache afterward. It's like I think that, and that's why I was saying at the top of the show about it being fan fiction. Like, if you ask me, hey, talk about this season critically and talk about like what should or should not be in it in order to make the show and the game Survivor good for the viewers and for the players, I would say get rid of more than half of the changes they've made, etc. But if you're saying has just watching it, it's like I almost had to put on like not a casual lens, but just like a step back and not think about it so hard. Let the show wash over me. And I'm finding that fun. Is it confusing? Yes. But I know in probably one episode, none of this stuff's going to matter anyway. So there's that. But I do think that like, with the people who were making it, this whole like the game is a monster and stuff, it's like this excuse, this built-in plausible deniability that Jeff gets to have and the rest of the show, the producers get to have. They're like, hey, we told you it was going to be hard and that you can't trust it, basically, so it can't be mad at us, it's just the monster.
Yeah. And I would say that most of what they've done, like, I feel like in a vacuum, like itself, like, could work, like could be fine. Even like when we gave out the letter grades to things, like, most of the things were like the letter grades were fine. But the question is, should they have done all of these things in one season?
And I think we're finding the answer is no.
Yes. It's like Jurassic Park, it's like just because you could doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
You're right. And it's just, in the past 4 seasons, we've had 2 true cliffhangers. Was Keith Sowell going to stay at the edge of extinction? And is Erica going to smash the hourglass? So maybe they also need to get a better idea of what a true cliffhanger is. They could hit up your best friend Mike White and find out what makes a great Hollywood cliffhanger. I don't know, and I'm nervous for what 42 could be. But I don't know. I think it's just the idols. I think they want to try to move the idols and make it better. Like sharing the information about it, but they just didn't get it right.
A lot of it has to do with it seems like they're trying to make it a more exciting show and less so of a exciting game. And there's a lot of reality TV that throws a bunch of twists and has lots of drama and lots of cliffhangers and lots of messing with the format. And a lot of us watch those and like them, but we put those a lot of times in the category of kind of like guilty pleasure reality TV, or, shows that we are obsessed with, but do we really like them? Do we yell at them as much as we love them? And Survivor was supposed to be my happy place, where it was an actual strategic game that you knew the rules, you understood it, and you could follow along and make predictions. And I would love to move back in that direction a little bit.
So, Mary, it sounds like you also listened to the challenge wrap up with Brian and Allie then. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, because they mess with us every week and change the format every week.
Yeah.
And it's the guilty pleasure that you don't like to admit that you watch. No,
Yeah.
I agree. We're leaning as far as like we have like the nicer middle America people over on Survivor, but this is just leaning too much towards forget everything you know. I don't know. But
well, and I guess the hope is that they really like all right, we got really crazy in Survivor 41. Maybe like, okay, we got that out of our system in Survivor 42.
You know what my favorite thing about all this is
What?
the tons and tons of times you've said, Rob, over the last year on podcasts about how the break was good for the show because they were going to take a step back and assess
Yeah,
and maybe
I did. I
maybe
really
pull
thought,
things
look,
back a little.
Mary, look, if you take a look at my predictions for the world, many times I say, like, look, people are going to realize, like, all right, this got way too crazy. People are gonna things are going to calm down. That it's too crazy.
Right. Has that ever actually worked out for you? Those
no. Nope. Not once. But I mean, it's got to happen sometime.
Yeah. It's like they looked online and they saw, oh, everybody wants back to basics. No, let's do the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
If I may, and I don't know if you guys got to it in the voicemails.
Yes.
And you're right, my connection is a little spotty, but it's definitely the last thing I want to get to, and I'll let you get to everyone else waiting.
Yes, Josh.
Maybe I'm a little biased because I've been seeing some of, I would say, hate because of Sydney's religion, and I know that's not what the RHAP community doesn't like about her, but I'm still confused as far as why people don't enjoy her. Like, I think if a man played the game that she played,
yeah,
I think people would be like, "Oh, we praise, like we."
Josh, that. So let me just roll it back for a second. So that Sydney is getting hate about her religion.
Yes,
because
yeah. People say like, "Oh, she's like this science."
Hold on, John. Hold on. Say that one more time because you. I think what you were saying was important, but you were cutting out there.
Yeah. So, making comments.
Hold on. Just try one more time. Let's try it now.
Sorry, better?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you were covering up your microphone or something.
Oh. So there were people like tweeting at her and comment on her Instagram posts saying that she's, a Zionist princess and just using it in a derogatory way, like having nothing to do with the show or anything that's been heard on the show. So I know that's not what the RHAP community doesn't like about her. And I've agreed with you, Rob. I enjoy her from an entertainment perspective. I just don't know what people don't like about her. Like I think she's great TV. I think we haven't had a strong she may be cocky, but we haven't had a strong cocky female character in a while, and men get to do it all the time without any backlash.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any sort of a blanket that any group of people particularly likes her or doesn't like her, at least based on I think the online response to her has been uneven. And first that I also want to say it's terrible if anybody's saying anything about her religion. I do think that she comes off a little bit they love to hate me. Basically I don't care what people think about me, and I do think that some people are threatened by that when somebody basically says that doesn't care what the world thinks about them and is sort of very forward about saying that and has a high opinion of themselves. So I can understand why people we're all trained you have to like people that are humble and nice and sweet, and she doesn't necessarily subscribe to that. So I can understand why people don't like her on the show, but I just feel like that for me, she's at least bringing some energy and excitement. So that's what I always like to see personally on the show. Mary, do you have any thoughts on Sydney?
Yeah, I think Sydney is she comes across to me like someone who's very aware of her archetype and is rolling with it and owning it. I think probably a lot of the online hate, much like anyone else, it comes to the like, oh, she's going against my faves, therefore we can't like her. That seems to be probably the most of it, you know. She said something in this episode that I noticed on my rewatch that cracked me up a lot, which was when they were at the merge feast.
Yes.
And they said something about, oh, poor Erica off on edge of extinction. And Sydney says, she'll be fine. She's really happy-go-lucky. And it was like the perfect like archetype of that's the sort of hidden nice thing you say when you really don't like someone else. Like, she doesn't like Erica because she's been told Erica was going after her, and she's like, oh, she'll be fine suffering out there. She's like happy-go-lucky, and she'll own that. It'll be fine. And I really loved that, because knowing what we know as the audience, you can sort of read through that, and it was really funny. But I think she's bringing something to the table. If people think that all women need to be sweet and nice, then get over it. That's incorrect. Move on.
Yeah. Okay.
I appreciate that, because I've been watching, trying to figure it out, and not just like you said, Mary, not every woman has to be the same on the show or off the show. So
yeah,
I thought it was I don't know. I thought there was a little bit too much going her way, but I'm excited for next week. Excited for Erica to break the hourglass and see where things go.
All right, everybody, get your hammers out on Wednesday. Okay. All right, Josh. Thank you so much. Okay. All right,
thanks, guys.
Bye. All right. Let's say hello to Logan. Is here. Logan. L to the OG. Logan.
Logan without OG.
Yes.
How's it going?
Very good, Logan. What's happening?
Sweet. Not much. Just hanging. My question is pretty much where we think the trajectory of Shan's game is going to go. I said with my friends a couple nights, we're just kind of getting sketched out when she tried for the third time in a row to do the parlay with her vote steal.
Yes.
I was worried. I was like, it's either going to go the Allie Elliott route, where we're getting kind of built up and she's getting cut right before merge. The other option was the Kelly Wentworth kind of route, where she's going to make the deep run and get cut right before finale. So do you think now, with the groups that she's looking at and with her new alliance, she's a little more well insulated, or where do you see kind of her game going?
Well, first off, you don't have the possibility of her being the winner of the season.
Why is that?
No,
Kelly Wentworth, if it's...
Yeah, well, but Kelly Wentworth is like the fallen angel. That's like right there.
Right.
You have her as a possibility that you think she could win.
I think so, and I think what was interesting was before I was kind of wondering if all of the gameplay was going to kind of come back to bite her in the end, as it usually does with some of these bigger targets. But I noticed when she kind of exposed Liana's advantage, Tiffany put her mistrust more so in Liana rather than Shan. So I'm wondering if she's now going to be able to kind of plant those mistrusts and kind of back off a little bit more casually.
Mary, what do you think is coming up for Shan?
Yeah, I think conventional like edit reading would say there's going to be a downfall soon. This is why I really, really want to see more from Liana's thoughts, because when I watched that scene for the first time, it seemed to me like when Shan revealed in front of Tiffany, it seemed to me like Liana was equally not happy with Shan as much as also with Tiffany for sort of bringing that up. But maybe they're hiding that for some reason. Maybe for editing, they're like, oh, well, we can't show that and then show the Black Alliance right after that. That's confusing or something. So I'm not really sure. My guess is that Liana is not as close to Shan as Shan is to Liana, and that Liana has other options out there that she wants to go for. I don't think I really, Shan's my winner pick. I want her to win. I don't think she's going to. I'm really sad about it. I think she could get far. I think she's going to be more fallen angel, but I don't see it, mostly just because I think that Ricard is more going to be her downfall here, unless they somehow manage to flip the vote on Ricard, assuming that Erica smashes the hourglass. But I don't know. I'm not feeling great about it, just because I think that she's sort of played too many of her cards pre-merge, and that she would have to just escalate the intensity, and so it would be interesting to see.
But I don't think that Shan is going anywhere anytime soon, because I mean somebody has to be targeting her, and I feel like that while Shan and Ricard may not be on the same page, like who does Ricard have? I mean, it's not. I guess like Ricard could like just throw her under the bus and say she has a bunch of advantages, but I'm not sure why he would do that. I feel like that Ricard knows exactly one person in this post-merge game, and it's Shan. So I don't think it really would help him out to be targeting Shan. And I think that Shan, she has an in with Liana, and Liana is working with Evie, and Evie wants to do a thing with keeping all of the women together. And unless like Shan really like tries to exert like a power play on like Evie, where Shan is really like wanting to call the shots, or if Evie feels like, hey, you like Liana is my person. I have like this tug of war with Shan over Liana, then potentially maybe that's where the problems come for Shan. And maybe also it's like by way of Liana, like where Tiffany is saying that she wants to target Liana. If she feels like Liana is close with Shan, maybe Tiffany is pushing for, hey, Shan is the problem. Like Liana was fine with us before Shan was in the picture, and now I think she might be closer with her than she is with us. But I don't think that people are directly going to be targeting Shan anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think it's a directly target. More like Ricard has all the dirt on Shan. And so if anything ever comes down to Shan versus Ricard for the vote, or if Ricard's feeling like, if the hourglass gets smashed and Shan is safe and Ricard's on the outs, he may be trying to just reveal anything that he possibly could have, sell anybody down the river in order to protect himself. Even, I could see that potentially happening. I think the guys are going to continue to kind of try to get some of the women out for the next couple of votes.
Yeah.
So I think Ricard will probably start finding that he can make some new allies, would be my guess.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like Ricard, as of now, really is the only one who has reason or would want to come after Shan because of direct things. But I think he is also perceptive enough to know that he might not have the full strength behind it, maybe yet at the merge, because from everyone else's eyes, they're like, well, of course Ricard would throw Shan under the bus if he's not going to work with her.
Yeah.
So then I guess it would be interesting if it comes down to how strong that Black Alliance is, and if Danny and Deshawn, if it gets small enough to a point where are they going to cut her or Liana first if they decide to stick together. And that Yase just seems so distrustful of each other already that they might end up kind of shooting Liana before Shan.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of possibilities coming up on Wednesday.
After, these past few episodes, it's like kind of just got to be along for the ride, and you can't predict too far ahead.
Yep, it's like the monster in horror movies. You can't stop and think about it. Just keep going.
Keep running. Keep running with it.
And while Shan has some things definitely that might be tricky to overcome coming up, there's not like a single other player that I look at and going, oh, well, they're going to be the clear winner because they've got everything. Everybody has either people who are mad at them or people that they are, frustrated with, or, things pro and things con on each person right now. So it could go anywhere. We just haven't, I don't know if we've ever seen such a hardcore, like, first part of the season edit from someone who doesn't then somehow get sniped later on. I don't know. Maybe like Tony.
Yeah. Okay. Logan, anything else?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
See ya.
Okay. All right. Mary, just to work this out, we haven't talked yet about what you think is going to happen on Wednesday. I think that you are in the camp Erica's going to break the hourglass, correct?
I'm in the camp I want Erica to break the hourglass.
Yes.
The people I was watching with when they did the next time on Survivor and they showed the 2 seconds of Erica saying, well, I had an hourglass or whatever it was, or I had a decision to make. It seemed like based on her tone, for whatever reason, I was getting vibes that she was going to say that she wasn't going to do it. Wow. And I'm really nervous that she's not going to. I think there's really no logical decision to make for why you wouldn't, unless she was safe either way. There's no reason why you shouldn't smash it. I mean, it really gives new meaning to smash or pass on this decision. But I think I want her to. I think she will. I think she'll do it. If I don't look at the edit, I have to believe that she'll do it. It's like the whole, I mean, you could say it's like the Cindy with the car thing, right? And like some people will say, oh, well, you've got to be nice and protect the people you know and not make a bad decision against them because they'll be mad at you. At no point in Survivor history has anyone ever been happy enough to keep you around because of some kind of like reward or protection you gave them. Like that has never once worked out. It's always backfired on people. You give up your reward, they vote you out. You give them the, whatever, they vote you out anyway. They're only ever going to vote you out. If anything, it might even put too much of a charitable threat on your back where they'll vote you out because you did it. So they'll be mad, but they already don't like you. They put you on the island. So hopefully, best case of action for Erica, she smashes it. The people she saves are so happy they pull her into the Women's Alliance. And things go up from then. And hopefully some people, all it really needs is the first person to run up to her and say, oh my gosh, all of these people were trying to make you the target and get you out. And then she'll just realize she had nothing with her previous tribe.
All right. So operating under the assumption that the hourglass gets smashed. Yes. So that would mean there are 6 people that are vulnerable at the vote. And that is going to be Ricard, Evie, and then the 4 people from Luvu, Sydney, Nasir, Danny, and Deshawn. Who do you think will be the most likely person to go home out of that group?
If Danny and Deshawn can somehow get Erica to still vote along the lines of what they want.
Yes.
Which I think will be their number one task of trying to do.
Yes, and I just want to add, so I know it's been a little confusing in the way we've talked about it, but so while those 6 people will be vulnerable, we still believe voting. 12 will vote.
According to what Jeff said, that's what it sounded like.
Yes.
So I think things are not looking great for Nasir. Hopefully, that's not looking good. Because I think there's definitely a possibility there that Liana takes Nasir's idol and then they vote Nasir out. I think that's definitely possible.
That's on the table.
We know that Sydney mentioned in this episode that she doesn't like Heather either. So Sydney could be going for that angle, especially if Sydney's trying to protect Deshawn and Danny as well. So that's possible. I feel like it's one of those two because I for whatever reason I feel like Evie's going to be okay. I think there's enough people connected with Evie who like Evie that they're not going to. I'm not sure what the reasoning would be of why to get rid of her. So I think that I think it's going to be one of those 3 of Heather, Nasir, or potentially Sydney if Erica really can get her way with the people she saved.
I think this is going to be tricky because I feel like it could be Evie because that we know that Danny and Deshawn talked about wanting to see that a woman goes next and that I don't see them. While I feel like that Sydney is also somebody that I could see going out. Like it's harder for me to envision the scenario where Sydney is the target where maybe Danny and Deshawn are not on board with voting Sydney.
I think Heather becomes the easy vote in that scenario. Oh wait, Heather's not eligible, is she?
Well, they were talking about Erica. People were pitching Erica as an easy vote, and it did seem like Evie was okay with that potentially.
Yeah, I don't know why. Sorry, I was messing up thinking that Heather was on that winning tribe, but she's not. She's one of the ones who's not.
Yeah.
So it's just. I feel like I'm missing a person then. Were there only 5 people safe?
There were 5 people that were
Ricard. Ricard's on that in that group too.
Ricard.
That's the other person I forgot. So I mean if the guys are really trying to do they have the votes? The guys are what, 1 down or 2 down in numbers?
I think there are a couple down. So it's only Danny, Deshawn, Ricard, Nasir, and Xander.
Yeah. So there's only 5. So the guys don't have the numbers. So if they want to, I think that's the scenario where potentially Sydney could go. If the guys realize if they really want to protect the guys and don't want one of them to go home, then they might have to sacrifice Sydney in order to keep them all safe.
Yeah. And potentially, the women could lose Sydney and still like have a numbers advantage over the men and sort of like lull the guys into, a little bit of a false sense of security also.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's, I don't
Sydney
see...
would be my pick if I had to like put a chip on the table.
Yeah, I think it's going to be either Sydney or if Danny and Deshawn really don't want Sydney gone, I think that they cut their losses with Naseer, especially if Naseer's idol gets taken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that's possible.
Okay,
because I think if I'm Liana and I'm going to take Naseer's idol, I probably want Naseer to just leave as well, so that there's no blowback.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think that especially like, and again, if the Camp Out Alliance is real. And
right,
Shan and Shan and I mean like is real, like as in like, okay, that we're going like all in. They're gonna share all the information. If Liana, just like runs it past Danny and Deshawn, hey, this is what we're doing. We have this vote steal or this advantage steal. She's gonna steal Naseer's idol. We're going to use it for us. We're going to take Naseer out of the game. Like, just, get those guys just like to co-sign what you're doing beforehand and not just like blindside them at the tribal council and to vote out Naseer. Then, I could see that being a scenario where Naseer could go home too.
Especially if it comes down to the reason that it could be Sydney also is if it comes down to Erica coming back and everybody feeding Erica the Danny and Deshawn said you were the easy vote, they want you out. If she really, really tries to go against Danny and Deshawn, and then if you do have the camp out saying, oh, we got to protect this, that's where you would throw in Sydney's there, also in their group. So let's take out Sydney in order to hurt those two as opposed to actually going after them. So it could happen, but I hope it's not Naseer. I think Naseer could win immunity, though.
I like all the people that are going to be vulnerable at this tribal council.
Yeah, I like all these people. I think that it's going to be exciting. I think a lot of the people who are vulnerable also, like I said, have really good odds of winning immunity, depending on what it is. So that could be a factor. But I think that that's so much more interesting than Erica somehow not smashing it.
Right.
And then it's... yeah.
Can I give you another point for Sydney that I kind of feel like that Sydney may have a negative reaction to finding out that Erica has decided to flip who has immunity, and I could see her being just like going off on Erica, like, how could you do this?
Yeah,
you're worthless. I could see a strong response.
That could definitely happen. That would be funny. I think that Sydney is someone who probably is going to let those feelings out, regardless of the fact that it's not going to help.
I don't see her holding back. Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Can I talk about real quick, just mention a couple things that I thought were really funny in the editing?
Of course.
It was like these moments that I think if this was a scripted show, they would cut out, but they kept them in, which were really great. There were several moments when Erica found out she was going to Exile Island that were like almost too cringy, because as a viewer that she's hoping she's going to be told that there's some sort of advantage she's going to get from this. Like, they lingered on the Jeff Probst saying, okay, like, you're going to this island, gather your stuff, got nothing for you or whatever, and then she just stands and looks at him with like a little bit of a smile, like, and what's the twist? What, do I go to the Cochrane boat? What is it? And nothing. And then she's like, oh no, this is real. I have to leave. And so she leaves, gets to the island. Oh, okay, there's some jars here. There's going to be something promising in it. Oh, just water. Never mind.
Yeah. I have that sound clip.
This one looks promising. Oh, it's water.
That was so like, an avocado, thanks. It was a lot of that. It was so good. I loved those moments just because we've seen enough of this show to know, and if I was her, I would be also thinking the same thing, like, okay, where's my twist? And so I do love the delayed gratification there of Jeff waiting for a whole day, just like toying with her, because he knows that that's what she's hoping.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Let's go to Max. Here is Max Z. Max, how are you?
How's it going?
Very good, Max. What's happening?
Not much. I just paid some rent, work today.
Oh, okay.
Just hanging out.
Yes, it is the first of the month.
Yeah, everyone's suffering a little probably.
Yes.
Literally pulling up my rent app. Thank you for reminding me.
Max, what does your shirt say?
This is WKU, Western Kentucky University. This is where I went to school and now where I work.
Okay.
So.
All right. So, Max, tell us, what are you thinking about Survivor this week?
This week, it was a lot. Obviously to take in. I was disappointed at the beginning of the episode when Jeff was like, no one's going home tonight, because I knew we were in for something crazy was going to happen. I was like, all right, let's just sit down and enjoy it. I don't know. The one part that really got me that I think was too much was Erica getting to reverse everything that's happened pretty much.
Sure.
I thought everything up to then, it was a little much, but it was fine. It was within the realms, the context of the foundation of Survivor a little bit. That's sort of how I felt about it. Was they've split them up before, or they've had two tribes on one beach before. It's a very similar situation. So I felt like just Erica getting to reverse the outcome of a challenge was overboard for sure.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite type of time travel, right? Because it's the parallel universe kind. Because if this was circular time travel, she could reverse it, but it would all end up the same anyway, right? Because what happened. But I think that, has anyone brought up the whole Big Brother 16? We literally did this in Big Brother 16, except
reset week.
Right. But the difference there is that I really thought he was going to say, if you smash this, we redraw the rocks and rerun the challenge. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Oh, could you imagine? Everybody was so mad at her. Really? You're making us do the challenge again?
Yeah, but at least that gives everybody some agency. We took away your prize, but you have the chance to win it back.
Yes.
Or what if it was Erica had to do her own challenge, where she could then reverse the outcome of the challenge if
she has to put together five pieces of the big ball, and then roll it up a hill.
Yes. Mary, can I double back to when you talked about circular time travel? Can you explain that?
Right. So circular time travel is the kind of time travel where what's happened has already happened. You still have to go through the motions and go back in time to complete the loop. But you were always going to go back in time. You were always going to do this. And that's the kind of time travel I like, because it makes, in terms of time travel, it makes logical sense, right? You knew that, well, I guess you haven't watched Harry Potter 3 yet. But there's, the type of time travel where you knew you could do the thing because you were always going to do it. You were always going to go back in time, and you can't actually change time. And then parallel universes is instead you go back in time and do a completely different outcome, and that are both running parallel to each other.
Okay.
Some people know.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I didn't know Mary was such a time travel expert.
Oh, that
so
I didn't. I literally watched Looper 3 times the last month. And
oh my God! Yes. Okay. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Looper I've seen. So Back to the Future would not be circular, right?
Right. That's opposite, because you go back and you completely change something. He comes back to the present and things are different.
Yes.
In circular time travel, whatever you changed isn't actually going to change the outcome.
Okay. Max, you got all that?
No, it's been over my head perhaps on a Monday Survivor Night talk.
Yeah. Okay. But hey, I didn't like that they called it time travel. That was a mistake.
It's not time travel, right? You're not traveling in time. You're not using the hourglass correctly. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
But I do like the fact that they smash it. Except for this. Now we haven't seen this next week, but I'm very concerned about something. The hourglass, having a mallet to smash it, in order to do that, you have to be pretty close, right? If you were able to throw the hourglass to smash it, you could be farther away. But there's going to be some glass that could, I hope they're going to give her goggles.
Goggles. That would be great. They should give her some safety goggles to be able to, you don't want there to be a big explosion.
Right. Like I had to smash something recently, some glass, for a show, and they made me put on safety goggles for it. So
okay, Mary, could you tell us a little bit more about this? So what was this show where you had to smash glass?
I was in a live radio show, and so
you were in a live radio show, like a radio play, and then you had to smash a glass?
Yeah, for sound effects of a breaking window. So I threw a rock at a glass in a trash can.
Wow.
But I had to do one time, and it was, like 4 feet away, and I still had to put the goggles on.
Mary, what kind of show was this?
It was a spooky themed radio show where there was like worms that were attacking and cats that turned into people.
Was this like a audio production, or this was like on stage?
Yeah, both. It was an audio production recorded on a stage with a live audience.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really fun. I didn't know they still do that, but apparently they did.
Yeah,
you'd have like little fake commercials, partway through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Wow.
Anyway, so
Mary, I didn't even know you were an actress.
Yeah.
Wow.
Method acting.
I knew you were a master of disguise, but I didn't know that you were in theater.
Yeah, I try, but just that kind of thing. But this experience, because in theater it's all about safety and there's a lot of precautions, right? And I just really hope that the crew of Survivor is keeping Erica safe at the same time.
Yeah.
Plus, if you're doing it like on the beach, is she gonna smash it there and then there's glass in the sand? Are they gonna sweep that up after?
Yeah. Max, anything else?
Well, I wanted to time travel a little bit back, not too far, just to sort of talk about another foundation of Survivor, which was the whole sitting people out in back-to-back challenges situation.
Yes.
And the reason I kind of have a bone to pick with this not being in effect this time, other than when there was a reward and immunity, I get that it makes sense within the context of an episode, but if there's only one immunity challenge per round, then I feel like then it needs to just be 2 challenges in a row, or like you can't do it like 2 rounds in a row or whatever. Because I feel like we would be seeing a lot more of Luvu, because they would have gone to more tribal councils, because they clearly have a weak link in Heather, who struggles in challenges, and she would have had to run more. I think she only played in the first immunity challenge. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're right. She only was in the first immunity challenge. Yeah, it is a good point. I don't know why Survivor allows this loophole. You would think that based on what we know about production, that they love their like big athletic competitors, that they would want something that would penalize the weak competitors that sit out all the time. Like everything else they do is to favor the like athletic competitors. Why this, Mary? Why do they let this go on?
It seems like this does favor the athletic competitors. They're
that
saying
it lets them keep winning?
Competing. Yeah, it lets them keep competing. Whereas if you had to sit out Danny and swap in Heather for a back-to-back challenge, then
but they would vote out Heather, wouldn't they? Like if they had to go to tribal council.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like is Survivor protecting? They're not even having to take that risk. I think in that scenario, if they just did the oh well, no. I was thinking of the scenario where they have back-to-back ones, because if they had reward challenges still, they would just sit out Heather for the reward or for the immunity and then put her in for the reward.
What they do is they create a system where now Heather can limp to the merge and then is now going to be in the final 3 of the season. Is that what they want?
It's not what I want.
So are Danny and Deshaun. So I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, but Danny and Deshaun, then once they are like vulnerable, they will get picked off. Like where Heather and people like, and Erica, like had she not, made a bunch of enemies, would be people that would be probably very small targets when you got to the merge.
Yeah. It does. I think it has that outcome of what we've seen in a lot of seasons, which is the final group of people. You have some very big physical competitors and also some goats. And that's how you get there, is by both of those groups of people getting to be able to make it farther. And then we lose more of the like mid-tier level competitors who maybe are the sort of stereotypically more strategic competitors or more social ones. You lose those because their tribe is is losing and has to go to more tribal councils. Yeah, I don't think it's fair. I think they should erase this rule.
Yeah.
I think that they should have
can't sit out back-to-back challenges. It's
back-to-back challenges. Yeah.
I know it's like the episode was last week, but it's like, all right, Erica, you sat out of the last challenge. Who's sitting out of this one? You know, I think that they could very easily just like give the reset of like, okay, you sat out of the previous challenge whenever it was.
Yeah, it just forces everyone to play the game, have to go to tribal before the merge, unless you're swapped around or whatever. And then, you know, maybe we get to keep players like JD and Brad, who maybe, or Jeannie, who definitely probably wouldn't have gone home. You know, what's Ua going to go to 3-4 tribal councils if Luvu had to sit out Heather or had to play Heather every other round? Not to pick on Heather, who I enjoy whenever we get to see her. But yeah, I don't know. That's the big, keep all the other twists, but let's get this foundational thing back in order. I feel like it's a real unfair rule.
Yeah.
I guess the other argument you could say is just that they're doing this in order to prevent people like Heather from having to be the first couple people voted out.
True.
Which is also a stereotype that happens. So I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, Max, thank you so much for the call. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Take care. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. All right. Kenzie, are you ready to go? Let's see. And then let's see. We have Kenzie and I also have John backstage, Mary. Okay.
Always a joy.
Okay, let's say hello to Kenzie. Hi, Kenzie. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good. Kenzie, is this the first time we've gotten to speak during Survivor?
For this one, yeah. I think so.
Okay.
The timing's not usually great, so.
Okay.
Let's see. I hated that there was no tribal council. All right, my thing is, okay, the power for Erica at Exile, like being able to have that big of a power without telling them beforehand what kind of decision they're making, I think was a little much. I mean, they should at least get like some kind of hint of like that kind of situation, they're not going to think that it's going to be something that big. So
they needed to all, when they pulled their rock out of the bag, they needed to all be warned that this is a beware challenge as well.
Exactly.
Well, Mary, let me ask you this question. So it's Survivor 41. Should the players who decided who was going to exile have known that there was going to be a big advantage to being exiled?
I think they should know that there is going to be an advantage. And we even saw Sydney say that, like, oh, she's probably coming back with an advantage. Yeah. We don't know what she's coming back with. And they said, oh, yeah, it's probably got an advantage. So I think they predicted that. I think the unfair part, I think it's fine to say, just assume that you should know if you ever send someone away, they're probably getting an advantage. I think the problem is the advantage affects the power that the previous people just won by winning the challenge. And yeah, I think that's the unfair part. Not that she's getting an advantage, but that they weren't told that she would get an advantage, but the fact that the advantage is a little bit OP.
Well, I mean, it is, but that's fine. I don't have a problem with like the advantages. It's just, I think that if it's going to be something that big, then they should let them play the game. Like you said earlier about like they're doing more of it for the show rather than the game. And yeah, it's not, they're trying to get those big moments, but with not actually making an interesting game to watch. The casuals maybe were thinking that Erica's not going to do it because it's such an obvious choice. Why would they leave it on a cliffhanger of something that's so obvious if she wasn't going to do it, you know? So I guess that would be a reason why.
Yeah, Jeff's trying to say it's going to be a giant move if you do it, but isn't it the more shocking move if she doesn't do it?
If she takes the hammer and just throws it into the sea.
What's the point of having a cliffhanger then, you know?
Yeah. That's a good point.
This like with the steal advantage thing, I think that's a fine advantage. If they either let them know that there was one going on that season, or they weren't publicly announcing that they have an idol and doing a very like go to Shipwheel Island or whatever, so you know people who have the opportunities to have, an advantage of some sort. So it's like I said, either tell them so they can like make it fun to hide that they have it, or I don't know, or just like tell them about it so they can be prepared for
even
it.
If they just say winning comes at a cost or something. But I mean, it's it's like the Jamal thing again. It's like, at that point in time, we said that picking up an item that's hidden should never be a bad thing that curses the player. You should never be in a position where you go, ooh, do I want to win this challenge though? Because maybe it's really a curse to win it. Because
I just say, if I ever went back on Survivor and like something happened to me, like a negative thing happened from something that's never been done before, that there was no way I could have ever, I would be the worst sport that happened to me. I was like, no, you can't. And then, how could I have known? That you just made something up. I didn't know.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm a Patriots fan. I like that.
I would not be. Yeah.
And if there wasn't going to be an immunity challenge, I would be more upset. But I think, and someone said this on the call-in show, like the fact that they do have another opportunity to save themselves makes it a little bit less bad, because really you could think of it like this was just a bonus that you were safe to begin with. You shouldn't have been safe here. There should only be one person safe, and it should be at the immunity challenge.
Yeah,
this
was
fair. The reward challenge.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as the vote out, I was thinking it was going to be Xander and then like Liana or Tiff, but then Liana's got the whole camp out thing.
I like what you said about it not
Tiffany,
being Xander.
They want a girl out. But you've swayed me over to Erica. I think Erica is going to go because Sydney's going to go because she's going to blow up on Erica for doing this, because that seems like something she do since she already
I could see that. See it.
Yeah, so I think that was a good call, because it was kind of hard with the way people are spread out, but that's like, hey, everybody, look at this big thing over here. Why don't we just get rid of that? And then we can like get more settled on what's going on in the merge.
Yeah, Sydney strikes me as the type that doesn't take disappointment well either.
Oh, and about what the thing being made of glass, like, wouldn't it be terrible if she got medevaced after breaking the hourglass?
Look, it almost happened to Aris in Survivor Exile Island, that he had a champagne glass and he slipped and he broke it.
On that note, did you see the like season 41 hype trailer that Peridium made? Like Welcome to Survivor? Because it's got all of the moments from the first 40 seasons, and they highlight all the winners. The Aris highlight is just him slipping on the glass, and like everyone else had these pivotal moments, and that was really funny.
Yeah, well, that was like the most interesting thing he did. So
yeah, there's no goggles in that scenario either.
I mean, he did tell Terry to call the ambulance.
That would have been another good moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. That's
all right.
all.
Yeah, nice
Kenzie. Yeah, thank you so much for the call. Okay. Okay.
Bye.
All right. So we also have Elisa on hold. John, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you want me to take yes? Should I take Elisa first? Or thumbs down? I should take John first. Okay. All right. John likes to be the closer. Okay. All right. Here comes Elisa.
By the way, I love your Xander impression. That's one of my favorite
things. Thank you. It's I love it too. And Josh really helped to get it going. So
fantastic.
I like what you said about my impressions.
Good.
Yeah, but I do struggle with my Kendall Roy not being the same as my Xander impression. Yes. Okay. Elisa, what's going on?
Not too much. It's a rainy day. Just got back from work, and it is the day after Halloween.
Okay. Why did you do anything fun for Halloween?
I didn't do. Well, on Discord, we did play Codename, so that was fun.
Oh,
yeah. But there was surprisingly a lot of interesting people, a lot of interesting costumes for the kids who came to my mom's house, because I was helping.
What'd you see?
So, too many kids were in Squid Games costumes, I feel like.
And what is this?
To my point that I'm like, this is cool, except you look 8. So
why are kids knowing about Squid Games?
And then there was also a kid that dressed up as Freddy Krueger, and I was just like, I don't know about this, but
yeah, Freddy is interesting, Elisa, because if you're a kid, like, yeah, how do you even know Freddy Krueger? I think that they don't even remake any Freddy Krueger movies.
It's the parents who are posting their kids' pictures on Instagram, and they're just trying to look super edgy for them. So,
yeah.
I saw one too many Leatherface outfits.
Leatherface,
this
yeah.
It wasn't a child, at least, but.
Okay. Yeah. Elisa, what's happening?
So I don't know what has been talked about yet, but I am wondering if the two of you have talked about Tiffany yet on this call.
Well, no, not really.
Okay. So I was thinking about Tiffany and where she stands at the merge. And I think that Tiffany is in a better position than I expected her to be, because I thought that Tiffany was losing the trust of Evie and Liana during the Voce vote. I thought that Tiffany wasn't seen as like a strategic person and all of these things. And then in this merge, we see a confessional from Liana that's talking about Tiffany is a great person to be around and she's a threat. And on top of that, Tiffany now knows not only that Liana has an advantage, but Liana told the truth about her advantage. So I think Tiffany is in a better position than I expected. And then on top of that, she's in a better relationship with Xander than I expected to. So I just wanted to know what you two thought about kind of where she stands right now. And she can't be voted out. She's not vulnerable.
Yeah, Mary, did you have any thoughts on Tiffany and her position? Because I did think that this episode was weird, where Liana talked about how much Tiffany is such a wonderful person to be around, and because of that, she wants to vote her out. And then Tiffany talked about how Liana is a trusted ally, and she has an advantage, and so I might need to vote her out.
Yeah, Liana says that Tiffany's playing too hard and comes across a little too intense, but is very fun to be around. Tiffany has a great ability to read other people and see what they're hiding and be suspicious of them without understanding that she also comes across that way. The awareness there, because I think that what Tiffany needed to do, and this is a really hard thing to figure out, is Tiffany needed to play dumb. Tiffany needed to not bring up the fact that she just overheard Shan slip or say, that Liana had something. She needed to wait and see if Liana came to her about the information. And instead she directly sort of, I think that's what Liana was hoping. Liana was hoping Tiffany would just kind of forget about it and not mention it. And then she's like, dang it, she's not going to drop this. Now I got to tell her about my thing. And now I feel, this way. So I think Tiffany's in a really interesting situation. And it's going to depend on, she actually has a bit of power of whether or not she decides to go with Xander. We saw in the previous episode when Xander said that they trust Tiffany a lot, but Tiffany's like, haha, Xander thinks I'm with them, but I'm really with the women. And now Tiffany's like, maybe I could do that. Tiffany has more options, and it's really going to depend how she plays it. If she sort of kind of steps back a little and isn't as intense, she could be in a really good spot, or she could be in a kind of President Sarah scenario where too many people think that she has too much power. I don't know. What do you think, Rob? Do you have insight on that?
It's just we have so many different groups, and I think it's really good for Tiffany that she doesn't have to be vulnerable. She's going to be part of the group that's going to call the shots. She did not get along with Sydney when they went to Shipwheel Island. It seemed like that they did not trust each other, but it seemed like that they were chatting in terms of this in this last episode, because when Sydney came back to camp, Tiffany is not going to want to lose Evie, but I think that she's open to just about anybody else going home there. So I think she's going to be in a good spot here, and maybe she can pull in Erica once we get her back at camp too.
I think so too. I think Tiffany is a lot more relatable than I was expecting. I think part of that is because her sons are all like teenagers and in high school. So, or I think they're like closer to that age. So she has a lot more that she can talk to with Evie and Liana than like potentially like the average parent. So I think she has that advantage to her in terms of like talking and getting along with everyone who's a lot younger than her. And also, just in general, I've been really enjoying Tiffany this season just because, I don't know, she just seems like a total like badass and just like says what she thinks all the time. And also like, even though she is, I like the crazy characters though. Like I like the Brads of the world and everything. So it's like even though she is a lot to handle, I think she's super entertaining, and I think that entertaining, but she has she's more insightful than the average crazy character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and her stock is rising. You know, she seemed like that she was going to be somebody who is like one of the first or second boots, and now here she is like getting into the merge, and now she has a chance to really like be in the middle of everything.
Yeah, I can see this going two ways. Either she uses, because she has a lot of information from a lot of different people, and so if she uses it in one way, she could end up being the wild card who has a lot of power, and people want to work with the wild card and appease them, or she could be the person who they go, okay, Tiffany's got too much. Because I think viewing Liana, especially Liana's like 20 years old or so, like pretty young, I think Liana was looking at the situation with Tiffany more like gosh, like why did my mom catch me doing this thing, and now I gotta kind of suck up to her. Less so than, like Tiffany didn't do anything wrong in that scenario by going up to talk to her. Certain players would play dumb, and that might work out better for them, but that's not Tiffany's going to say what she thinks as well. So I think it's interesting to see if Tiffany wants to stick with the women thing. But I think she could easily, if she wants to start a whole new thing with Erica or something, she's got a lot of information that she could spill if she wanted to.
Totally.
Okay. All right, Elisa, anything else?
I think the last question I have is just Mary, like, of all the contestants, which contestant has like the best like outfit to cosplay with or have a costume with?
I mean, I saw a lot of people dressing up like Evie for Halloween. I saw a couple tweets about that and stuff. So I think Evie's got a pretty good one. If you don't have the shorter hair to rock that look as
Wendell
well.
was JD.
Yeah, I saw the JD.
That looked really good.
That one was also really good. I think there's really something for everyone here, because like my dad, I think if he had a wig, could really pull off a Brad really well. Brad was also his winner pick, so that was pretty funny. I think there's a lot, because there's a lot of people with really distinct looks. I think like clothing wise, Evie's got like the easiest clothing to go buy, and you kind of know who you're cosplaying as. But there are some good ones on this one. I really like the Erica's picture from her like her casting photo. I haven't actually seen her wear the outfit, but her picture from her casting photo, I own like that entire outfit, so I was like, I could do this. So,
and you can just need purple hair strands, and it works.
I know, yeah, that would be good too. So there'd be some good ones, but yeah, I mean, Rob's, you can do the voice. Can you pull off like a Xander look?
I think you could just like have a buff and then like have like a strand of hair like, coming out. I think you could do it. Yeah,
I think you could do it. So I think it'd be good. I mean, there's a lot of props, talk about the advantages. There's a lot of props you could use this season. You be Erica, you carry on the hourglass, you got your, everybody's got their little dice thing, and you hold up a beware advantage. I think there'd be some good ones. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elisa, thank you so much for the call. You always have such great calls. It's always so great to talk to you.
Thank you. I always have a good time calling. And Mary, of course, nice to meet you and talk to you.
Nice to meet you too.
And always great listening to everyone also and hear their opinions.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that, Elisa, and take care. Okay.
No problem. Have a good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. And let's welcome in. Here he is, the closer. It's John. John.
Hey, sorry, it's not a little dark in here. Just not even.
Oh, that's okay. What's going? It's very spooky still.
Not really.
Okay.
I mean,
John,
are you getting ready for Christmas anyway, or the holidays?
Well, I'm sorry. Say that again.
I mean, is Nicole getting ready for holidays?
Is Nicole getting ready for the holidays? Not yet. Not yet. I haven't heard one. All I want for Christmas is you yet, or anything like that. She's been distracted today.
Wait until that happens.
Yes. Okay. John. Now we haven't heard from you much on the Survivor feedback show. What's going on? Is it Monday Night Football?
First of all, it's the Chiefs. Who cares? But
yes.
And second, I'm still pissed at the Saints.
No, I just meant that we don't hear from you on Monday nights that much on
I'm
Patron show.
Just saying hi. I'm hearing all that because I feel like I don't do much on Mondays, but I'm just, you know, I feel like I need to be here.
You need to be here. That's right. Okay. So, John, did you have any Survivor 41 takes or questions?
I mean, besides the whole Erica being, maybe what do you call it, like, you know, when she's not chosen, like just exiled?
She went to Exile Island.
Yeah, but her story really, you know, touched me on that moment because, yeah, she said she had parents who came to the country with nothing and, you know, had to work hard. That's what really same thing is with my parents. Like, you know, they had to sacrifice a lot. Like they had to, you know, sacrifice their time to be with us just to give us, you know, a living.
Yeah, she said that being there is a love letter to her parents.
I feel like I need to do it. I feel like that's what all our parents we need to do. Just give a love letter. Some kind of love letter.
Hey, look, maybe that's the perfect holiday gift, John.
Have you given something to your mom as a love letter?
No, I haven't. I gave her 2 grandchildren.
Oh.
So, I mean, that's something, right, John? And she got a free trip to Survivor. So I think she's doing okay.
Oh, you Mary?
I put on an event this past weekend, and my parents, my dad won first in his age group at the race, and so that was basically like, you know, I gave him a certificate. So that was a love letter, right? Because without me, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
I guess it just feels like, you know, we take this for granted. I mean, that's what Survivor taught us. Like, you know, don't, you know, forget about where you came from and what happened in your past.
Yeah, John, I wasn't expecting you to go so deep tonight on the you know, the lessons that we've learned from Survivor.
Yeah, I mean, that Erica moment really, you know, touched my heart. It's like, it's something that I had to deal with when I was little. But I had to come through because without what happened, it's like, where would I be?
I mean,
or what would happen?
Yeah, look at all you've done, John. You're on Twitch and TikTok.
Thank you. Yeah, have you seen TikTok lately?
I mean, I see it all the time.
How many times have you been on today?
You know what? Today I actually did not spend a lot of time yet on TikTok. Why? Is it a Bones Day, John?
Not with my beats. Sometimes just seeing old Power Ranger stuff.
Oh no, I'm not on Power Ranger TikTok.
Oh, how dare you!
You know, the great Kirsten McInnes told me the other like a week or two ago that
anybody that's older than her is middle aged.
No, that in certain lights, when I had my hair a certain way, she told me that I looked like the berries and cream guy, which I don't think was a compliment.
I don't see that, Mary.
Yeah. So and then so that was fun. I guess I could have done that for Halloween. Didn't see as many berries and cream little lads as I thought I was going to.
It was September 31st. Yeah.
You were a sheep or a lamb?
Yeah. What's that, John?
No, I was asking Mary, like, was she a sheep or a lamb? No.
I was a lamb. Okay, Mary had a little lamb.
Okay, I was a little confused, I guess, maybe, because I feel like they're the same. Although...
One's little.
Yeah. Although I feel like sheep is the same thing, because we were Tough as Nails last season.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, they had to chase sheep.
Yes. Okay. John, yes, go ahead.
Oh, speaking of which, I don't know if you actually got to see the whole Phil Kogan got mistaken.
Yes, I did. I did see that somebody asked Phil Kogan if his name was Jeff, and he said, "No, that's the guy that hosts Survivor."
How do you think about this? Like, I wish we had coverage though this season, but it's okay.
Have you been keeping up with Tough as Nails, John?
Been a good season. I mean, I hear good things about it, especially.
But are you watching it?
Yes, after Survivor, it's like,
yeah,
what else on?
I mean, I guess there's nothing else to watch after Survivor is over. Right after, there's probably nothing else that you could be watching.
Well, unless you watch what, the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, if there was some programming that was on right after Survivor that people could watch,
right?
Somebody should think of something.
Maybe on YouTube, because I like to go to YouTube.
Maybe. But yeah, I think that when Jess and Mike are free, I think we're going to try to do something with Tough as Nails. Okay, John, did you have a question or prediction about Survivor 41?
Do you think this whole Sydney and Erica thing will be? I don't know. It will be close to Chris and Dominic when they had their little rival.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely could see, we talked about Sydney as a potential merge boot. And Mary, I do think she kind of fits the mold of like a Chris Noble, where she's kind of had like a little bit of a big edit. And I could see her being sort of like the villainous merge boot to go home, like a la Chris Noble.
I love the idea of Sydney being the mayor of Ponderosa. That would be really great.
They do both have the same edit. I mean, what Sydney said, like, oh, she's like the figure, like she's. I guess like what she's a perfect fascist, what she said, and then
both of them are pretty high on themselves. Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying like this is a female Chris Noble to me. It's like, oh my god.
I mean, she doesn't rap as much yet.
Oh my god. But what tells her to stop rapping?
Erica maybe.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, because we're not getting as much like animosity from Erica. Erica just wants Sydney out. It seems like more strategically, but. That would be good. Yeah. We should bring that back. We should encourage more, intense voting confessionals.
Yeah. We really haven't seen that too much this season.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why some people don't like Sydney, but I mean, she's not as rude or anything offensive.
Yeah, lighten up. Like Sydney's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just glad U.S. Survivor's back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
John, yeah, that's right. We have to appreciate it.
I mean, I just watched International Survivor this past couple months. And I have to deal with some politician who thinks they're above the others.
Yeah. John, should we write a love letter to Survivor? And let Survivor know how much we appreciate it.
To who, Jeff?
Yeah.
Worth a try. Worth a shot.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. I mean, maybe I could send it to him on Twitter, but he won't read it.
You think my wife will read it?
I don't know. Maybe I think I have a better chance of getting Mike White, the football player, to read my love letter to him. He only has 15,000 followers on Twitter.
I think I did. I wrote a love letter to Jeff. I mean, it was in meme form, and it had a picture of his face on it.
You did? What was it, Mary?
I think I've got it lying around. I don't know. It had a pun with his name and I love you. It was
well, Mary has the Jeff Probst cardboard cutout as a shrine to him at her house.
I've got my shrine. Hold on. Where's my Jeff Probst?
Now you need back.
Oh yeah, see, I've still got it. Got it.
Yes. Oh yes. There you go.
Survivor Man.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So there.
That's
hold on.
my
Here,
love
hold
letter.
that up again, Mary. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't say that. I F you. Yeah, Mary, I didn't see anybody screenshot that and use it like they said they were supposed to.
It's very.
Oh, sorry. Took Mary off.
What do you call these things again?
A meme?
No, I mean the puzzles.
Oh, Rebus.
Yeah, Rebus.
Yes. Did you invent that before the game within the game, Mary?
I was still confused about this week.
No, yeah, I didn't catch it. I watched the episode twice, and I just didn't feel like pausing
I see the picture
to see what it was.
Yes, I believe it was like, "Can I have your jacket?" I believe it was. So they've really gone very inside baseball. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
John. Anything else?
I think that's all I got, but hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night.
Okay. See you tomorrow night. Patron cast coming up.
Mary, I love you.
All right. Take care, John. Bye. Okay. Hey, Mary, I forgot all about that. Mary, did you happen to listen to this week's Robin and Kivanita podcast yet?
Not yet. It's in my queue. I had to listen to all the Survivor stuff first.
Because you follow the Olsen twins, correct?
Yeah, I was really excited to see that. Yeah, the Olsen twins. Did you guys talk about their famed days as detectives?
No, we talked about 2 films. It Takes Two was the name of the podcast. We talked about one of their highs and their lows. We talked about the film It Takes Two, and we talked about the film The Challenge, which actually
the Challenge,
a bit of a Survivor parody.
Yeah. The Challenge is great, but before that they had a whole series as kids of them being detectives.
Yes.
And I used to watch that a lot. I definitely had a lot of those on like VHS, but the Challenge is such a that was the low movie.
Yeah, people didn't seem to like that one, but yeah, there was a lot of Survivor parody to talk about. Yeah, we took a quiz with Lindsay Wilson to find out who's the Mary Kate and who's the Ashley Olsen out of Akiva and myself.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to listen to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really so very fun episode of Renap this week with Lindsay Wilson. So be sure to check that out. Mary, we will have on Wednesday night the Survivor Know-It-Alls. We'll be back together. Steven was celebrating the 1 year birthday of his daughter, Margot. He'll be back with us this Wednesday night. And then we've got some great podcasts coming up this week on Thursday. Of course, we'll have the return of the Survivor exit interview. We'll talk with whoever gets voted out of the game. And then PG Law will join me on Thursday afternoon. Always a fun one. And then we will have on a bonus podcast on Friday night. I will be talking with Sean Clements from the Hollywood Handbook, a very funny guy. And I was on the Hollywood Handbook recently. He's a big Survivor fan, and he's going to be catching up with me on Friday. And then on the Survivor Feedback Show, Lisa is going to join me, and she is one of the great Survivor guests on the podcast. So excited to talk with Lisa.
Excuse me?
Yeah. So get your feedback questions in for Lisa this weekend.
The podcasts and the guests have been so great. So
thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. Like I do feel like that there's so much for people to listen to, but I've been very happy with how all the shows have gone.
I've been loving it. I could not believe about the B&B guest this week. I freaked out.
Oh, you listened to the My Brother and Me?
Yes, I'm a huge My Brother and Me fan and Adventure Zone fan. So
yes.
I could not believe my ears, and so I'm really excited about that one too.
I was talking with somebody else and today, and I had mentioned what was coming up on the B&B this week, and they were like, sort of like, I guess not 100% paying attention. They're like, wait, hold on, what did you say about My Brother and Me and Justin?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah,
like, yeah, they're going to be on the B&B. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, 3 of my favorite podcasters all in one room. It's gonna be. I'm just so excited to listen to that. But yeah, this season's been great. I've loved all of it. Loved the Devins podcast. I've been.
Rick Devins was great this week too.
I haven't been this excited to listen to Survivor podcast since the last season of Survivor.
Okay. Makes sense.
They're always
checks
good.
Out. Yeah,
they're always great. But you guys just keep them coming. It's been refreshing.
Okay, that's so happy. Nice to hear, Mary. Mary, where can people listen to more of your amazing work?
Yes, well, at season 5 of Riverdale really just took a toll on all of us. So we're taking spooky season off, but unfortunately, Riverdale's coming back in like 2 weeks. So we'll be back.
Is there a Netflix bump? Was Riverdale always on Netflix?
Yeah, Riverdale, it airs first on the CW and then it goes on to Netflix. I think in Canada, it goes on to Netflix like the day after.
I mean, I see it in the top 10 constantly. Because Chappelle and I monitor the Netflix top 10 very closely.
So I don't want to say this about Survivor because I hold Survivor to a higher standard, but Riverdale is the show that we initially started talking about because we said it's very addicting and we're obsessed with it, but we don't know if it's good or not. And it's certainly a show that works better on a binge, and people like it on Netflix for that reason. And I hope that Survivor doesn't feel the need to go that way. But yeah, you can check that out on Kwiatkowski Cast. That's Cow with a K, with myself and Kirsten McInnes, and it's been fun. We actually had after a time away from this character, famed Survivor Wyatt Nash came back for an episode appearance.
How is Wyatt Nash doing?
he was singing, so I wasn't expecting that.
Wow.
I mean, I guess I should have been expecting that, right? Because wasn't he a singer too? Didn't he do some like? I feel like I have an image of him with a guitar, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just.
I don't remember
plugging Chase Rice into that equation.
Maybe.
Yeah, a famous Survivor alum. But yeah. So Wyatt Nash was there. It's always funny to me when I see him on Riverdale. Just too many worlds colliding. But. Yeah, you can check that out and check out everything else for El Mary. I was in with the crew doing some Among Us.
Yes.
Well, we played Goose Goose Duck, which was similar to Among Us, but with geese and ducks instead. But it was exactly the same game otherwise.
Yeah.
We did that last week. So
yeah.
I can't believe we've been doing this for over a year now. 53 weeks. Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah, I mean, talking about circular time travel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You should really look up circular time travel. It's definitely the best form of time travel.
As a little bit of a time travel like sci-fi fan, I'm surprised I've never heard that term before.
Yeah, definitely look that up. It's the best. Oh, and I also had a thought from this season of Survivor, which was I need to have somebody send me the transcript of exactly what Brad said when he was trying to say his broccoli phrase. Do you have the exact?
Yeah, I think so. Here is Brad.
I was hoping it was the salt water that was making my clothes baggy, but the fact is I'm just turning into a little bit of a twig and with kind of a fuzzy top. I feel like a broccoli. So broccoli grows little bunches on small trees. So I feel like a little broccoli tree, I guess.
Yeah, nailed it.
Great. I'll clip that later because I want to. I think that would make a great cross stitch. So.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Thanks. That's my favorite. Yeah. No, that's it for me.
Like what you said about broccoli.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, Mary. Great job here tonight. Hope people enjoyed this preview of the Survivor 41 patron Q&A. We'll be doing this every Monday night here in Survivor 41. You can, of course, check out everything we have going on in our Patreon community between the Patron podcast feed, access to our Patron Facebook group, and our Patron Discord, where people are chatting all day long. You could go to robhasawebsite.com/patron for more information. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.